thing has become crystal clear. When we talk about economic opportunities, economic growth, and reopening with modifications the economy in a safe way in the state of California, not only should we be driven by data and public health as a predicate, and we will be, but we also have to be driven by considerations of workforce. And that means we really have to consider the needs of our workers, particularly those with children. And that's why today I want to make an announcement about an effort that's been, and I'm not exaggerating, almost 2 decades in the making. These challenges are they birth necessity and innovation. And what we're announcing today is, because of necessity, an innovative portal, an innovative platform that the Department of Social Services has put up for childcare in this state. I've got 4 kids. Many of you watching have children. Many of you hoping to get back to work. Many of you struggling to educate our kids, to care for our kids, and take care of yourself and others. And childcare has been a huge challenge. 63% of licensed childcare facilities in the state have been impacted from this crisis. That's a jaw-dropping number. But despite that, there's been some really heroic work done. Working in partnership with our hospital system up and down the state, we were able to partner with them, partner with others to put 432 pop-up child care facilities very strategically placed all throughout the state of California. Because of the leadership of Tony Atkins and great leadership of our Speaker of the Assembly, Anthony Rendon, they prioritize with their colleagues across the political aisle the support of emergency grants for child care slots. I had a wonderful conversation with the Women's Caucus here in the state of California, led by Connie Leyva, focused exclusively on the issue of child care. Their advice, their counsel, their direction, they want to make sure that $100 million we put up is being well utilized and well invested with real transparency and accountability. $50 million of the 100 was for new vouchers, and then $50 million in partnership with CDE, California Department of Education, was for facilities, making sure that they're sanitary, making sure that we have the appropriate protective gear for those facilities. CDE just put up their information today on where those $50 million are going. They're going to get those dollars distributed, and they put out that guidance and couldn't come too soon, but we're very grateful now it is up, and we're going to get those dollars out there. So $100 million in that space. This new portal, which I'll introduce in a moment, years and years in the making, weeks and weeks in its creation. And then additional positive news in this space, $350 million that came from the CARES Act because of the incredible leadership of Speaker Nancy Pelosi and the partnerships she was able to form across the aisle. We had conversations yesterday with Kevin McCarthy, leader, state of California Republican leader. Everybody worked together on that CARES Act. It provided the state of California $350 million of grants that we'll be distributing in our new budget. We've got this we call May Revise in the state of California. We're very close to finishing our work. We'll make that public on the 14th of May, and that $350 million working with not just the Women's Caucus, though substantively so, with colleagues of all political stripes in the Assembly and the Senate, will prioritize the investment of those dollars in real time as well. But in the interim, this portal is profoundly important. This portal is a tool to navigate, a tool where we do a lot of the vetting. We do a lot of the research. We do an assessment that is dynamic in real time, is updated, that allows you to go in, type in your zip code, and then see pop-ups of all of these child care facilities in your area, health and safety criteria, whether or not they're being met, licensing. You'll have a chance to really learn about the quality, not just the access to the available slots. You'll learn about the number of available slots, the hours of operation, the size of the facilities, and other information that is now being made available all throughout the state of California. There's still areas, if you have your zip code, where we recognize not a lot of centers will pop up. That's on us to do more and do better in that space. space. And again, the constraints with so many of these facilities shutting down makes that more challenging, but that's our responsibility to work through and figure out. And so that's the part of that $100 million contribution. The $350 million is really find these child care deserts in this state and make sure that everybody has equitable access to high-quality child care in this state. This portal, by the way, was inspired by the good work of two well-known brands, unions in the state of California, UDW and SCIU. They have a version of this called Carina Cares, not Katrina, Carina Cares, but it focuses on their employer base. There's some registration requirements and other requirements that separate what we're doing from what they're doing. But I just want to acknowledge the incredible effort they put in place some time back that became the inspiration for this broader effort now made available to all members of the public. But the most important member of the public today is the person that really spearheaded this effort and really led this focused endeavor over the last 4 weeks. She made a point earlier that I'll repeat yet again, how many years this has been in the making and how wonderful it is to be in this position where we get to present it to you today. It may not be as big of a deal, many of you without kids, but those with kids that understand the power and importance of childcare and understand childcare is economic development. Childcare is an economic question. It's much more than so many others. Again, it's about workforce, economic and workforce development. Can't have a workforce unless they're taking care of their children and are confident in the quality of that care. I'm confident in the quality of the leadership of Kim Johnson, who is here to go through this care site with you, the head of Department of Social Services. And again, I just want to thank her and her team for putting this site out today, and you'll now have a chance to take a look at it.
Thank you so much, Governor. And this has been a long time in the making. We know that childcare keeps California working. It also provides that critical enrichment and activity for supporting the healthy development of children. The $50 million investment that the governor mentioned that's going to service 20,000 individuals in accessing child care subsidies across our state is rolling out. It's for those essential workers, and it's also for our vulnerable populations. Those that have been engaged in our child welfare system at risk of abuse and neglect, those who are experiencing homelessness, domestic violence across our state, and also those that have differing learning abilities for our children and special health care needs. We're glad to provide this additional resource in partnership with the legislature to really address the needs of all across our state. This child care portal will help then get that access and locate those open child care programs in your community. So I'll share with you how you can access this information. On our covid19.ca.gov website today, there is a new bar that says Find Child Care Options. That'll take you directly to a screen that has a map of California where you'll be able to identify and include your address or zip code for the area that you're looking for childcare to locate in. Once you've done that, you will have a listing of, again, open childcare programs, both family childcare homes and childcare centers across the state in that area. Any of these that are of interest to you, you can click on, which will then bring you additional information around the contact information of this facility, their current availability of spaces available, capacity of that site, and again, critical health and safety information around the licensing history of this given program. You will also find access to your local child care resource and referral agency who can help you navigate and answer additional questions that might be helpful to you as you're looking for child care for your family. Again, a long time in the making and a critical support. I absolutely want to thank the partners in this effort, including Open Lattice, Children's Data Network, our local child care resource and referral agencies, the network, and our partners at the California Department of Education to all of the hard work in developing this tool. I also want to thank the employers across the state for the 432 pop-up child care centers that we've been able to open, the expansion that's been able to occur in family child care homes. We want to thank you for stepping up and identifying and addressing the needs of your workforce in this space. And certainly don't want to leave out the workforce itself, the child care providers and early learning workforce across our state who are serving to buffer the stress that's happening with this public health emergency across our state while they're caring for themselves and their families. So thank you so much for what you're providing to children and families across the state. We'll continue to take thoughtful approaches to ensure the safety and well-being of children as we look at our roadmap to modify the stay-at-home order. I do want to point everyone again to guidance that the Department of Social Service released earlier this month around social distancing and physical distancing in child care programs, really keeping those group sizes as small as possible for children, extending that indoor environment to outdoors. It's perfect weather to do so. Using carpet squares, mats, and other visual cues for children to keep that social distancing in place. Those cots for nap time, 6 feet apart. Frequent hand washing with learning counting, learning songs, and really making sure that that's happening across the board. And also how you can modify your pickup and drop-off practices to reduce the entry in and out of your facility. The Department of Social Services looks forward to continued engagement with the community, the Women's Caucus, other stakeholders throughout our state as we ensure our children and families across California have the supports they need to thrive.
Thanks, Kim. And again, always health and safety as the foundation of our approach for all of our efforts here in the state of California. But childcare is essential. These are essential workers out there that need childcare. We need to provide that support, and child care becomes, again, even more important as we begin to modify the stay-at-home order in the state of California. So I want to thank her team and all those that were part of this effort. I want you to know that the site is available at covid19.ca.gov. covid19.ca.gov. That's, again, the aggregated portal for so much information related to this crisis and our response to the crisis. That will send you to this specific site, and hope people will take advantage of the site and fulfill the opportunity to get some of these subsidized slots or high-quality slots in their neighborhoods so they can get the relief that they deserve.